The government claimed in March it's not a race. Do you now regret that go slow approach?
No, our focus is absolutely on ensuring as many people are vaccinated as early as possible. We know that there are significant supplies which have been pre-positioned. For example, in Victoria, 666,000 doses have been provided to the Victorian government. Prior to yesterday, 398,000 delivered, so they have significant capacity to ramp that up, and we're encouraging every Australian to come forward as soon as they are eligible to be vaccinated, and that's been our advice, to continue to be vaccinated at the earliest possible time. At the same time, make sure that you keep your distance. All of the COVID-safe practices that we know, they remain absolutely vital. And we know there's a global pandemic, over 500,000 cases a day. We've been more safely protected than almost any other country, 94 days with 0 cases this year, but we're not immune, and so we have to keep being vaccinated and keep our distance. And if you do have symptoms, please come forward for testing. Do
you accept this lockdown may have been avoided if the vaccine rollout was better?
No, not at all. Because what we see is that around the world, countries that have high rates of vaccination are having, in some cases, thousands of cases a day, that they have very significant measures. You're seeing very successful countries such as Singapore, South Korea, Japan, Thailand, the jurisdiction of Taiwan, all of whom are facing challenges. So we are perhaps the most successful, or one of the most successful countries in the world, but no country is immune. There are some who are implying that a country can be immune. We are in a position that is beyond almost any other country's achievements, but it's a global pandemic, and where we engage with the world, where we're bringing Australians home, we've been incredibly successful in protecting the nation, but there is not an immune cloak for a nation. Vaccination is critically important, but countries with very high levels of vaccination are sometimes seeing thousands and thousands of cases a day, whether you're looking at France or Germany, the United Kingdom or Spain or Italy, the United States. We're in a very different position to all of them. Necessary, difficult, regrettable action now, but we know how to do this. We'll keep Australia safe, and Australians have been magnificent, but we'll get through it.
The acting Premier yesterday laid the blame at the federal government and the South Australian government yesterday, mind you. But Victoria's contact tracing is still, after all this time, not up to scratch, is it?
I think it has improved very significantly. Obviously, there was the issue around the identification of the incorrect supermarket, but they are doing I think excellent work. It is vastly improved from where it was a year ago, and I think that's important to Victorians. We have offered, through the National Incident Centre, additional contact tracing support. We've set up the Victorian Aged Care Response Centre to help them. We're at 99% of Victorian aged care facilities that have already been vaccinated. We're expecting to achieve all of those today. That puts our elderly in a vastly more protected position than they were a year ago when there was no vaccine globally. And so all of these things are coming together. So a significantly and vastly improved contact tracing system in Victoria.
Okay, so just on that, you mentioned last night that 74 aged care facilities around the country still hadn't had a vaccination yet, but 9 would be completed by today. So are you saying that the other 65 as well will all be completed by the end of today?
So around Australia, by the end of today, we should be at close to 99% of facilities that have been completed. In Victoria, we're expecting that that will be 100% of the facilities will have had a vaccination. And so
how many won't be vaccinated by the end of today?
Well, by the end of today, the advice that I have is that we will have approximately 1%.
How many facilities is that?
25 to approximately 25 to go on the advice that I have. It will depend on each facility being vaccinated, and that's out of a figure of over 2,500. And so what we've done, it's a process which has been vaccinating. That process has reached that point of near completion, expected for all first doses to be done in Victoria. What we see is over 300,000 doses of in-reach to our elderly citizen and those who are within aged care facilities. That is an incredible national mobilisation which is providing protection for older Australians. And that's, we had to start somewhere, we have to finish somewhere. But what we're seeing is that that process is coming to completion, and I think that that's been one of our most important endeavours and achievements as a nation.
We are talking about our most vulnerable citizens, though, so when will they all be done?
Well, we're expecting that the remaining facilities, some of whom, for example, may have had to manage a gastro outbreak or have recently had flu vaccinations, and so they were putting in place the 2-week separation period, that we're expecting those will be done over the course of the coming week. Each of those is being scheduled according to their ability to receive the in-reach. But when you think of it, over 2,500 facilities, by the end of today, that will be approximately 1%. Requiring that vaccination. It's expected that it'll be 100% complete in Victoria. That is an extraordinary national achievement, and that's protecting our most vulnerable.
And does that include the Doota Gala Aged Care Home in Inner West Footscray, which recorded 9 deaths last year during its peak? It's still waiting for its residents to be vaccinated, Minister. How is that acceptable?
Well, my understanding is that that is one of the facilities that's in the last group that will be completed during the course of the day. The advice that I had from the Department of Health last night is that all of the Commonwealth aged care facilities are expected to be completed in Victoria today. So to think of this, to have a group of 2,500 facilities, to have expert vaccinators come in to work with the residents, to cover the nation. That is an amazing national achievement, and that is what's keeping people safe. This year, there's been approximately 1.5 million lives lost worldwide.
Yeah.
There's been over 85 million cases, 500,000 a day. 94 days Australia's had 0 cases. So we are in a world of difference to the rest of the planet, but we're not immune. And so that's why the behaviours, the fact that people come forward for testing, the fact that we're likely to pass 4 million Australians being vaccinated in the next 24 hours, all of these things are protecting us, and 99% nationwide for aged care, and an expected 100% vaccination program in Victoria for aged care.